SaaS business owners need email marketing because it's how you prevent churn, it's how you upsell a higher tier of products, it's how you convert people, it's how you keep them engaged with your app. We're going to discuss how email marketing plays into all that because it's the only way this happens. Well, it's email or SMS, but we're talking about email marketing here today. This is going to matter for you if you have a SaaS business. It's critical stuff. It's kind of like a mini course. I'm going to be brief, but I'm going to try to cover all the necessary things you need to know. This is the Dropkick Copy YouTube channel. Stay tuned. Obviously, the biggest challenge for you guys is people don't stick with the app. They churn out. They try it once and they leave. They try it a couple of times and they stop, right? So you have to address it. And how do you address it? You're not going to address it with social media ads. You're not going to address it with a blog post. What you are going to address it with is email marketing, because somewhere along the line, you've got them to give you their email address or their phone number. So you have them in the palm of your hand. It's as if they stepped in your store and they're right in front of you. Hey sir, welcome, try out the da-da-da-da-da, right? It's the equivalent of that. So once you have them in the palm of your hand, you don't want to let them go. You're not going to reach out to them in any other way. You have them here in front of you. You're in the inbox. That's kind of why it's so powerful. And because it's lower down in the sales funnel, it's where you can be more compelling. You can be persuasive. You can build rapport. You can establish brand equity with them. You can run campaigns. You can be urgent, push urgency on them, right? All of this can happen here in the inbox. This is why it's very powerful. It's the closest you're ever going to get to the customer. Right? Pure and simple. It's direct marketing, direct response, direct sales. It's the closest you're going to get to the customer. And that's why this matters to you. It's the way you're going to solve churn. It's the way you're going to solve all your engagement issues. If they're not in the app, where are they? They're either on their phone or on social media, or they're looking at their inbox or something, right? Or they're watching YouTube, right? So when you get in the inbox, you have this ability to send reminders to them to get them back in the app, because the more they get inside the app, the more engaged they are with your app, the more they're likely to stay with the app and find some use out of the app, isn't it? If they're not getting the app and using it, that's when you lose them. So that's what this is about. That's what this is for. The thing to remember is not only are you sending marketing emails, but you're obviously sending support emails too, right? So if a user tries to purchase a product, but he or she abandons the cart, right, then you can automate a trigger based on that action to sort of remind them to complete the purchase. If there is a response to a message in the app, you can notify the user that, hey, so-and-so has responded to you in the app, go check it out, right? That's what Facebook does. Facebook notifications, they used to send emails, right? You can turn them off, but every time somebody replies to a post you make, you get like an email. So support emails are a thing and marketing emails are a thing. Both of them are affected by the principles that govern, emailing, email deliverability and such, right? So keep that in mind. The software that's great at email marketing is not necessarily great at transactional emails or support emails, and vice versa. I'm going to talk about that later. But yeah, just keep this in mind. There's transaction emails / support emails, and there's marketing emails. Both of them are stuff that you're going to need. Both of them are going to be affected by marketing principles, email marketing, deliverability principles, etc. Sending your transactional emails, your support emails, your marketing emails, you have two obstacles. The first is deliverability. The email needs to arrive in the inbox. If it doesn't arrive, nobody's going to read it. The second issue is if nobody opens the email, nobody's going to read it. So you need to get your emails read, and you need to get your emails to arrive. We're going to talk about getting your emails to arrive after this. So let's just cover this part, the part about being read. Being read is a copywriting issue. The reason I don't want to talk about it now is because I want to talk about the copywriting stuff in a separate video. But basically, you want to have great headlines. You want to have great headlines that compel the open. Once the open happens, you want to have body copy that's congruent with the headline, that builds off the headline. You want to have engaging content in there. You want to have one clear action. You don't want to have too much clutter, right? And you want to avoid a bunch of spammy words that can trigger the email service provider to not deliver your email. Do you get it? Anyway, let's park that for now. Copywriting stuff later. Write a great headline, get your emails open. Let's talk about deliverability a little bit more. 3 things you don't want to happen. You don't want your emails to bounce. You don't want your emails to end up in a spam folder. You don't want a bunch of people to unsubscribe from your list at a fast rate. All of these things are red flags, basically, because as it happens, it creates a snowball effect, and the receiving user's ESP, let's say it's Gmail, you're just sending to a Gmail account. Gmail is going to be monitoring how people respond, how your emails do. Are your emails getting delivered? Are they deliverable? If your emails are consistently undeliverable and people are unsubscribing from your list, that's going to make Gmail want to flag your emails as problematic. And later on, it's going to just move it directly to the junk folder and whatnot, and that's going to directly negatively impact your MRR, right? None of your emails are getting through, so you're not going to make sales. Your support emails are not going to go through. That's a tragedy, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what you don't want to happen. You don't want bounces, you don't want unsubscribes, you don't want to be in spam. The first thing you want to do to tackle a bunch of this out, just straight out the gate, is to set up 3 records in your DNS one is called the SPF, one is called the DKIM, one is called the DMARC record. SPF is Sender Policy Framework, DKIM is Domain Key Identified Messages. DMARC is Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting and Conformance. If you think about it, when you're sending your support emails or your marketing emails, you're using an email marketing platform, which is a mail server, right? To send emails on your behalf. Now Gmail on the other end, it does not know that this mail server is authorized to send mails on your behalf. It's just a mail server, sending a bunch of emails from a bunch of people to it. So how do I know the messages? How does Gmail know the messages are all authentic? It has to check that. So how does it check that? It checks if the mail server has the DMARC records, the DKIM record, the SPF record, etc. What's supposed to happen is it looks to see if you're on the list of approved senders. There's an approved senders list, which is the SPF basically. It's like, fine, the mail server is allowed to send your emails, that's cool. Then it checks the actual email if it's been signed by you, which is the DKIM, right? It's an encryption, decryption kind of thing. And then based on those 2 things, it also follows something called the DMARC record, which is basically a kind of set of instructions on how to handle the messages. Is like, if there's a phishing attack, if somebody's faking being you, the sender, what do you do? First of all, you bounce the mail or let the email remain undelivered. Then you might also report to the sender that, hey, somebody trying to be you has been sending emails to me. You need to check that. You get it? So setting up your SPF record, your DKIM record, your DMARC record is important. It's technical but not complicated. In fact, if you want to hire somebody to do it, you can do it. Just hire somebody from Upwork to do it. But once you set those things up, you've basically handled email authentication for yourself and email security for yourself in a big way. That's going to have a direct positive impact on deliverability. It's going to solve a whole bunch of bounce issues, and it's going to solve a whole bunch of spam issues. Right? Because whenever any of these checks are failed, Gmail or the receiver's inbox, email ESP service provider, is gonna just move it to junk folder, the spam folder. So taking care of these 3 records, adding these 3 records is gonna solve a whole bunch of problems, deliverability problems. But there's more to it than that. Even if you've got your DNS records set up, if you've gone and built an email list that's kind of hacky, and people start unsubscribing from your list at a fast rate, that's also going to trigger some red flags for the receiver's ESP. And we're like, hey, this guy seems authentic, he's sending a bunch of emails, but everybody's unsubscribing. Maybe there's something spam about it. Let me check, and it'll just flag it, you know what I mean? I'm saying that to say that you need to build a good list. Building a good list is going to solve a whole bunch of your deliverability issues, is what I'm saying. So organically build the list, get real subscribers on there, people who want to hear from you. Keep the list clean, meaning that the more people are disengaged from your email list, the worse it looks for you, right? So remove the unengaged users and keep a list of engaged users. This is the best. It's like 500 engaged, active, reading people is better than 5,000 people who aren't even connecting with your mails, right? Gmail is going to consider their behavior as the measure of your value, your email's value, right? And then if nobody's engaging with your emails, and your open rates looks like sucky, it's going to just consider your email spam, right? Writing great emails is also very important for deliverability because it has to be value in the email. People have to stay subscribed. People, you have to encourage the click. So optimizing CTAs, calls to action, is necessary. If the click-through rates are high, the unsubscribe rates are low, the open rates are high, such and such, your overall deliverability is it's gonna have compounding effects on your deliverability. The other thing you want to pay attention to is also the words you use. Again, so this is a copyright thing, right? So inbox providers, ESPs, they monitor the content for spam words. That's the best way to put it. So apparently words like money and gambling and such, I suppose this changes. It's a moving target, right? Words come and go, right? But certain words are known red flags. Money, gambling, unlimited time offer, things like that. Apparently, are very sus according to the ESPs. So you want to figure out what those words are and then kind of keep them off your content. Yeah. So I think that kind of covers deliverability. Get your DNS records correct. Build your list correctly, segment your list, and send the right emails to the right people so that you keep your unsubscribe rates low, and keep your copy good and not sus. Right? You don't have any kind of suspect words in there, right? That's kind of the essence of deliverability, really. If you got those things covered, you're good to go. Having said all that, let's get, you want to get started building your email list. That's what you came here for. How do I build an email marketing, a list to market my emails to, right? So you start with a funnel, right? You have to funnel them into an email list. That can be done in, as you can be as creative as you want, but obviously you could start with a social media post that leads to the email list, an ad that leads to the email list, a YouTube video that leads to the email list, right? A blog post that leads to the email list, whatever it is. You want to drive traffic to some sort of landing page wherein you can capture the email in a form, right? People will exchange their email with you if there is some compelling reason to do so. The good news for you is because you're a SaaS business and you're building a tool for people. People who like the tool will sign up to use the tool and try out the tool. So offering a free trial is a great way to get an email, right? Once you've got them in the palm of your hand, you can do so many things with it. So that free trial is amazing. It costs you nothing and you can gain everything later on, right? So your funnel building is going to happen that way. Once you set up the funnel and get the emails going, get a bunch of emails, right? You're going to obviously have to start emailing them. So now is where you start thinking about what kind of platform you want to use to do all that, right? So there's a bunch of email marketing platforms. All of them compete on the same features, essentially, more or less. So you're going to select based on pricing, how good the UI and the UX is, and how good the deliverability is of the email marketing platform. When I looked this up, I found out that the most popular email marketing platform is something called Mailgun, which is used to send transactional emails and support emails. Remember I talked about that? It's something about it is designed to be great at sending support emails and transaction emails. It's designed for developers, devs, to use with whatever they're building. So that's the most popular one in the world. Very high open rates on those, right? Which is great. So every marketing platform has its own reputation generally. From the perspective of, let's say, an ESP like Gmail, Gmail needs to know which of these marketing platforms are suspect and which of them are like legit. Some of them may be being abused. So I need to kind of flag emails coming from that marketing platform and over the others, right? Mailgun's reputation is good. Its open rates are really good. When we talk about pure marketing platforms, you're going to come across names like obviously ConvertKit, Klaviyo, MailChimp, etc. Open rates are good there. But what we recommend is a platform called Bento. Keep in mind, there's so many and they all compete on the same features. Bento has everything you need. But what we like about Bento is that they don't gatekeep features, and there's not the tiered system of pricing isn't kind of, how do you say, scammy or anything, or they're not trying to exploit you in any way. You don't feel exploited. And the customer support is great. It happens in a Discord group. The actual founder of Bento is in a Discord group. He can answer questions for you directly, so it's very easy to get help. Bento is like the basic lower tier, 3,000. You can have 3,000 people on your list. You pay $30 a month. You can email them like 100,000 times or something per month, which is a lot. You know what I mean? You can email everybody every day type of thing, right? And then the higher tier is $50, 50,000 subscribers a month, and then unlimited emails. You get it? So it scales really well with you. The more you succeed, the better, because platforms will change their pricing. They'll have it really low when you're starting up, but as you scale up your list, the pricing goes through the roof. So it becomes expensive to market the bigger your list is. So you want to compare based on price also, right? You want to say, if I'm successful, how much is it going to cost me type of thing. You got to think about that. Some of them gatekeep features. Some of them give you features based on credits. You have to spend credits to use certain features. Bento doesn't do all that. So we recommend Bento, highly recommended. If you don't want to use Bento, try them all. But when you're trying them, also keep in mind of the UI and the UX, because you're going to be using this a lot, and it's very, very annoying to email with a clunky user interface because it's complicated and there's a lot of back and forth, and you just don't want to deal with that. So pick something with a good interface. Bento has a really good interface. Once you decide on which email marketing platform to use, you obviously want to email people. What to email them about is a matter of content and design and such, and frequency. Let's start with frequency. The more emails, the better, because the more you can email people, the more you can deliver a sales message and therefore compel more sales. It's kind of that simple, really. I've seen some stats that show that the average person expects to receive one promotional email from their list a week, like 60% of people. So send me one offer a week is what they're saying. Also, around 60% of people unsubscribe from a list because the list owner emails them too much. And this is what obviously all of you are afraid of, is like how much is too much, when emailing every day is the best thing to do. If you can get away with more, get away with more, man. It's all about relevance, right? But the sweet spot is like 2 to 3 emails a week. Lowest baseline, you should be once a week. There are email list owners I know of that sometimes they email their list twice a day. There's email list owners who they write long form posts, long form articles in the email itself. People are sitting and reading these things because it's about politics and it's a deep dive of a political topic and people want to know. So people want to read what they want to read, you know what I mean? People want to read what they want to read. It's just if you have something that's worth reading, they will read it. That's really all it is. So there's nothing to say that you're gonna over email them just because you have a high number of emails. If it's all valuable, they're gonna read all of them, So think about frequency that way. 2 to 3 a week is okay if you're just talking about nurturing. But like if you're running people through like a sequence, you can email them more because that's a sequence. You're trying to take them through something. Approach like a welcome sequence, email them every day. Because there's like a deadline. The trial's going to run out in 7 days. So email them every day type of thing, right? Once the trial period is done, you can change the frequency if you want. The other thing is, what should the email look like? Obviously, everybody wants to brand the email, branding. But stats have shown that text outperforms design-heavy emails, right? If you can get away with plain text emails, just do that because it's as effective. You know what I mean? But obviously, you don't want to do that. You want to put some branding in there. So go 80-20, which means it should be 80% text, 20% design. There should be more white space than less white space. Too many images can flag can trigger spam filters. Broken links and stuff, it all triggers spam filters. So you want to, a risk vector. You want to like decrease the risk vector. So you want to keep things a little bit simple, right? As far as design is concerned. What to email them about is obviously going to depend on why they're in the inbox. How did they arrive? The first thing is, why did they arrive in the inbox? They arrived, I'm presuming, because it's a Saas business, they arrived because they want to try out the product. They gave you the emails, hey, give me the download link, I want to sign up, I want to try it out. Right? So your first set of emails to these users is most likely going to be some sort of a welcome sequence. If it's not a sequence, it's just going to be a welcome mail. You want to know as much about the user as you can, because when you write, you want to be able to almost telepathically know what they're thinking, right? If you have your app set up in such a way that you can get, metrics and data about the user's journey within the app, that's going to help you write better emails too. So there's a synergy between what's going on with the app and what you're emailing the user. There needs to be a sort of synergy, right? And once you get all that information and have a clear picture of who these people are arriving in your inbox, you can then segment them. That's what the email platform allows you to do. It allows you to create cohorts of users. Just by age group, or by, it's a group of users that have used this particular feature this many times, so they really like this feature. There might be a cohort of people you can upsell something to, maybe the higher tier of that feature. You know what I mean? So segmentation is what you need to do, right? And then once you segment your cohorts, the new fresh user, the person who just signed up for your trial, that's a cohort too. So for each cohort, each segment, you want to have a set of emails that speak to them and meet them where they're at. After segmentation is this idea of obviously sequencing, and you can think of sequencing in two ways. There's just general triggered sequences, short sequences, long sequences, whatever they are. They're triggered by an action. When the user does something in the app, that could trigger an email sequence. Failing to make a payment, failing to renew the subscription triggers a sequence. You know what I mean? You want to look at those two triggered sequences. You also want to look at campaigns. Campaigns are like more time-based. So you'll have a Black Friday campaign, a Christmas campaign, or we have a launch campaign for the version 2.0 of our app, right? So they're time-based and seasonal. Yeah, that's kind of the two ways emails are distributed out there. And then generally you get your nurturing sequences, and there's conditions that define what a nurturing who the nurturing sequence should be sent to. If a user used your app a long time ago and has not used the app in a long time, they basically churned. You can move them to a nurturing list. You can have a set of users that you can have a cohort, a set of people who are familiar with your app, have tried your app, but they've churned out and they've not used the app in 6 months. To them, you can set up a sequence that emails them once a month. Hey, we've updated the thing, we've made a new feature, we're still growing, we have this many users, here's the milestone, things to create FOMO, right? That's how you gotta play it. Segmentation and sequencing for the segmentation, for the segments. And then how the funnel is how you get everybody in there, and the email platform is how you kind of deliver your emails, basically. I hope it's a bit broad, but there's levels to this. I don't want to go in too deep, but this is kind of more or less what you need to think about when you're talking about building the list. Okay, quick summary. You know now that you can funnel people into an email list by offering them a free trial or whatever you want. Offer them something in a form in exchange for their email address or their phone number as you wish, but email address in this case. Get them in there based on the reason that they signed up. Hit them with a sequence, an initial welcome sequence. Track user behavior and learn about the user as much as you can, because your goal is to create cohorts of users and create email sequences to market the cohort based on where they're at in the user journey, based on seasonal events, time-based events, whatever triggered events, right? You want to have a good email marketing platform that scales with you in an affordable way, has a great UX that's not clunky to use, and has good deliverability rates. You want to take care of your DNS records to make sure your emails actually even arrive in the inbox. So that's the SPF, DKIM, DMARC. And you want to write great headlines and great body copy. So you want to have your body copy congruent with the headline. You want to have text-heavy emails rather than design-heavy emails. And you want to have a simple, clear action to take per email, right? More white space than not. And then click-through rates can be optimized based on your copy and the way you present the offer and such, right? This is the crux of the email marketing. And also, there's a difference between support emails and marketing emails, and to a degree that there's platforms that are better at one than the other. So try Bento for email marketing, try Mailgun or SendGrid for your transactional support emails. Best of luck to you. I hope you win. I hope your numbers are through the roof and your sales are through the roof with this. If there's anything you want to know further, drop me a comment in the inbox. This has been the Dropkick Copy YouTube channel. Please press like, because it's gonna send you more videos like this to you in your feed. And do subscribe and click the notification button so that you get notified when there's new videos for you. That's it. Take it easy. This has been the Dropkick Copy YouTube channel. Peace.